registering. So I'd like now to go into the next slide, so where I will explain a little bit some logistics. So I will take 30 seconds. So first of all, we are going to record this meeting. You see the red recording icon into Google Meet. That's because then we want to provide you also this recording later for you, and so that you can eventually rewatch part of this webinar, and in case something was not clear, or in case there was any question that came up later. Another thing is that you probably all see my face, but now I will stop the camera so that we can gain a little bit of bandwidth. So generally, we keep everybody muted so we don't have some noises into the webinar. And of course, in case you have any questions, we have a chat which is open, and where everybody can write a message. And I just put hi to into the chat now. So you can ask questions there, and if we can, or if it makes sense, I will try to answer the questions through the session. Eventually, we can also park some questions for later, and eventually also, in case I cannot answer the question, which can be, I will then take the question at home and then reply to that question to you later via email. Okay, so let's continue. So a couple of words on Nexell. Nexell is the first Salesforce certified partner in Europe. It's a Swiss-based company and Swiss-only personal company. We are focused on Salesforce CRM implementations only. What we also want is that we want to make our customers to be independent, so that they can, after the implementation, you can continue on your own legs. And that's also why we are proposing these webinars, these free webinars, so that you can gain some little or even big knowledge around Salesforce. We have different sizes of projects and implementations, and we work also in the multi-cloud, so different Salesforce clouds, from sales to marketing and service and etc. Of course, if you are interested more, we have a very nice website, and you can connect to that one, nexell.net. Now, let me tell you a couple of words on myself. So I'm Francesco Scariolo. I'm located in Lugano, Ticino, Switzerland. I'm 15 years in the CRM domain, and I have 11 years of experience in Salesforce, as you can read here, and 5 years in marketing automation. I'm Salesforce certified, and I like running, and I'm also a ski teacher. Let's go now to the real core of this webinar. Okay, so here we have the agenda. I hope that you could watch the video that we prepared, where we show what can happen with duplicates, when there are duplicates. So all the problems are, I mean, the video was only actually explaining one problem, but it could be even more. So we are going to first watch a little bit how does the duplicate management work in Salesforce. So to avoid these situations like in the video you saw, then how to actually find duplicates in the Salesforce Lightning, and then I'm going to remove this PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to jump into Salesforce. So actually inside an org, and I will do a hands-on demo for the matching rules and the duplicate rules, which are the two concepts behind the duplicate management in Salesforce. You will see that later. Don't break your head if you don't understand this now. And then after the demo, we are going to let the line open for question and answers. You can also find into the presentation that will be emailed to you later this afternoon. You will find also some handy resources where you can learn more about this topic. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. How does duplicate management work in Salesforce? Okay, so let me show you what is really duplicate management and how this is really, let's say, working. So first of all, okay, duplicate management, it's a way to control duplicates in Salesforce. So you have some monitoring, you have some detection procedures, you have some configurations. So I mean, if you read the article and if you watched the video, you probably already understood, and that's why you're here today. So I will not go into too much of a detail there. But what is important is that you can capture duplicates on any device. So if you are whether you are, let's say, in your mobile, iPhone or iPad, or you are also in front of your PC, the duplicates are always coming up if you set up Salesforce correctly. So you have that on any device. You can use standard configuration. So what we will also see later in the demo is that there are some standard ways that already prevent, I would say, 80% of the duplicates in your organization. And of course, if you have a very specific and customized organization, which can happen also, so your Salesforce is specifically built in some, let's say, in some ways that the duplicate functionality need to look to some custom fields instead of standard fields, then in that case, of course, you have some advanced configuration. So to match the complex systems or to match systems where integrations are in place. For example, if you have some accounts that are coming from an external system, that can be your web shop or can be your SAP integration. You have the fuzzy logic detection. What does it mean? Fuzzy logic is that logic that it's not matching 100%. So where the matching is not 100%, but is only, for example, the 90%. So to detect those duplicates that are a little bit tricky to detect. So let's imagine that you have a first name, and let me just take an example here. You have Robert, for example, as a first name in one record, and in the other record you have Rob. So okay, then fuzzy logic can also determine if Rob and Robert are the same person actually, and can spot this. You have the possibility of checking duplicates in any of these objects that I put in this middle rectangle: accounts, personal accounts, contacts, leads, and then all custom objects. There is also the possibility to do some cross-object detection, which means, for example, what is very handy is to detect if a lead is duplicate against a contact. That's also possible. What is also quite important to know is that the duplicate management is available into these editions of Salesforce, which is the Essential, the Professional, Enterprise, Performance, Unlimited, and Developer Edition. So if you have any of these, then you're fine. Okay, let's continue and explain a little bit more in the detail how does really the duplicate management work in Salesforce. Okay, let's imagine that the user is starting to insert an account information, and we will keep account like a little bit the fil rouge into this webinar, so that we put our handles into account. But the same thing we can also translate it or transfer it to another object that can be contact, for example. So let's think about a user which is inserting account information. So there is a key in of the information, and then suddenly, boom, a duplicate is found. And so how could it work that Salesforce is finding a duplicate? Okay, so the technical reason behind this is that there is a matching rule behind the scenes. We'll see that later. The matching rule is what is actually identifying the duplicate. For example, by checking the account name and the city. So same account name, same city, okay, possible duplicate. So after that, so Salesforce identifies the duplicate through the matching rule, then we need to perform a decision. And that's where the duplicate rules will, let's say, control what happens with the record. So what happens? So I'm inserting, or a user is inserting a new account. The matching rule is finding this account, this new account is a duplicate. What does it match? And there is where a Salesforce administrator can decide what to do. So can decide either to alert and block the duplicate, so you cannot save, or alert, okay, just show the user, okay, this is a possible duplicate, but also allow the duplicate to be saved. So there is no block for the user to save the duplicate. And there are also multiple other scenarios behind this. These are, let's say, the two most popular ones. So either you block it, you alert and block the duplicate, so you cannot create a duplicate, or you alert, but you also allow the duplicate. In some cases, the duplicates are not wrong because it's not a duplicate. Let's imagine, for example, if you use one of these rules where we use the fuzzy logic, so the logic that is not checking 100% of the data, but let's say 80 or 90. So in that case, it might be that there is a duplicate, and we want to allow that. Okay, so that's what happens, let's say, inside a data entry. Or when a data entry happens. Now we can also watch duplicates or check duplicates also later on after the data entry is performed, and that is done by reporting. So the last step here into our duplicate management, how does it work in Salesforce, is the reporting on the duplicates, and we will also see that later on. So the technical how here is, so how does it happens to check duplicates? You need to set up duplicate reports, and this is not standard. I mean, this is something you will need to do as a system administrator. We will see that later. Okay, so just to start actually putting a little bit more pictures and gently shift ourselves between the presentation in PowerPoint and the demo actually in Salesforce. Here is what I just explained in theory. So the data is, or the duplicate is identified at the data entry is here on the top right, top left of the screen. When you read a record after you saved it, the duplicate is still showed, and you can see it top right of the screen. And then, of course, you can check also about the duplicate reports, bottom of the screen. Okay, so this is the theory. Now let me jump into the practice. And to do this, I need to move to Salesforce. Okay, so this is, oops. Okay, this is the actually is as a Salesforce demo org. So it's not a customer system. It's a system that we have built especially for this webinar, and where I want to show first how does this duplicate management work. You can see already here that I am into the account page, and I see accounts, some accounts here, and I see already that there are two accounts, Acme.Inc. And yeah, you can already guess why we have two here. Now let me try to insert a new account. So I click on new, and I start to put Acme Inc. again, because I just want to show you what is happening. So let's imagine the user is inserting this account, and then, okay, this is in Zurich. Okay, and as soon as I inserted Zurich address, then you see that a pop-up is displaying similar record exists. This pop-up here is actually what is telling you, okay, there is a possible duplicate. And the system is also asking you if you want to check any other record existing, just to make sure that what you are inserting is correct. And you have a link here, view duplicates. When you click on it, then the duplicates that are in the system are showed you. Okay, and the system, of course, is just alerting you. The record you are about to create looks like a duplicate. Open an existing record instead, and then you can decide to open an existing record or to work into the new one that you created. So this is just to show you what happens at the creation. In this case, the system allows me to create it. So if I save, then I can save. You can also decide later to not allow users to save. So this is one way. Now let's imagine that I save the record. When I'm inside an existing record like this Acme Inc. or Incorporate, in this case, I see here that there is a potential duplicate right at the top of the page. And this is because I added into this page, I added the component, which is the lightning duplicate component. And in here, you see is a standard component, by the way. So you can add it to new pages. And here you have the link view duplicates to see which are the duplicates that are available. And eventually you can also decide here to deduplicate. So if you select both the accounts, then you can go through a flow of deduplication of this record. And if you are interested, we can eventually look at that at the end of this session. But now it's not the topic. Another way to check duplicates, like I showed before, is the report on duplicates. And in this case, I have a report here. Let me refresh it. Yeah, it's only 2 records. So this is a duplicate report. And in this report, all records that are inserted will pop up. So let's imagine that now I do what I did before. So I create a new account and I name in the same way. Acme Inc. and then I put it in Zurich. Okay, I have the pop-up saying that there is a similar record. I close it and I save it. So in this case, I can now go to this report and then refresh. And now the third one is appearing here. And in this report, you can also see that the creation date of one record was the 9th of May and the other two are created on the 11th. Now, this is, let's say, what happens front end. Let me go now a little bit behind the scenes. And okay, so in here now, what I want to show you is how to create a matching rule. So I will put duplicate in here and then I go to matching rule first. So do you remember the this line here? So the matching rule is the first point, is the point where the checks on the data are performed. So that's where I need to go first. So let's go to the matching rule. Oops, sorry. Okay. Okay. In here, and then I have several possibilities here. I create either I use a standard matching rule or I create a new one. Just for this demo, I just want to show you how is to create a new one. So you select a new matching rule and then you are into step 1 where you need to select the object. In this case, I select account and I move to the next. Okay, then in here, I need first to define the name of the rule. And then the matching criteria. And for instance, I want to check the account name field, and then I have the matching method, which can be exact or fuzzy. In this case, I leave exact, and then I select the city, and I make it. Now let's make it exact also, and then I select also the account site, and I keep it exact. So let me just do the account name fuzzy in this case. Then I save this, and now I have a matching rule, and this is what the system will check. Again, if I go into the other is into the presentation, this is exactly what happens in here to find the duplicate. So how Salesforce is finding the duplicates. I need to activate it to have it working. In case it's inactive, this doesn't work. So you need to press a button here. And once this is done, then the rule is active. Then an email is coming to your email in case it's taking a little bit of time to create it, but that's the first step. The second one is to create the duplicate rule. And let me go again back here. So duplicate rule is the decision. So what happens once the duplicate is found? Okay, so I need to go again into the setup. If you write duplicate or whatever starts with duplicate, you have duplicate rules here. You click on it, and then you have the list of rules. Now I create a new rule for account. Okay, I just name it account duplicate decision check. And in here, you can see there is a first option, record level security. This is very important depending on your organization-wide defaults and roles to decide if you want to enforce the sharing rule or bypass the sharing rule. Enforce sharing rule means that the sharing rule will be let's say working on top of the duplicate rules. So in case one user is sitting on a specific role and cannot see the data of another using which is sitting on another role, then the sharing rule will not apply. But in case you want these to be bypassed, you can select bypass sharing rule, which means that the system for checking the duplicates will bypass the sharing rule. So this is important depending on your org. You need to decide that. Then actions. What do you want to do when the duplicate is found? In case you create a record, do you want to allow the duplicate or not? And then here you have a drop down, you can allow or block. And then in case you select allow, you can click on alert or report. Alert means that when you are creating, there is this pop-up with the orange label that I showed you before that is popping up while you create a record. And report means that the record will be saved into the report, which is this report here. If you block, it's blocked. So you cannot select to alert or report. So block means that a user which is trying to create a duplicate record cannot create a record. That's very simple. Action on edit, same thing like on create. You can select if you want to allow it, alert it, report it, or even block it. And then you can customize the pop-up or alert text. Okay, then once you decide on it, you have, oh, sorry, I just switched the screen to check if there were questions and then the presentation came up. Okay, good. Let me go back here. The matching rule, you need to select, okay, how does it work here? We said the duplicate rules are those that make you decide what happens with a duplicate. But now how to find the duplicates is the matching rule. In this example, we say that we want to compare accounts with accounts. But here you have also other options to compare accounts with leads, for example. But in this case, we compare accounts with accounts. And then we take the matching rule. We take the account duplicates check, which is the matching rule that I've created before. And that's about it. So now the matching rule is assigned. The duplicate rule is almost finished. In case we want some condition, we can add, but in this case, we leave the matching criteria doing its work. And with condition, okay, so let me just spend a couple of words in here. Probably there could be some questions. For example, you want to exclude employees from being tracked from the duplicate rules, or you want to exclude that your testing data fall into this. So now I save this. Now the duplicate rule is created, but is not active yet. So I need to click activate to have activated it. So I click activate now, and now it's up and running. And what I show you before will work with this rule. So creating account. So in this case is operations on create. It will alert and we'll put the record into the report. On edit, he will do anything or nothing. and it will actually only compare accounts with accounts. Okay, since we have, so let me go back now to the duplicate rules. Since we have more than one rule for account, then the two rules are coming together, so are let's say working together. You can have several rules, and you can eventually also change the order so that one rule applies before the other ones. But that's something that in this webinar I'm not planning to show you. I think that I've run through what I wanted to show you for this one. Now, you have created the duplicate rule. What is missing is that you create a report. As you remember, probably I said to you before, okay, you need to create a report. So to create that, you need to go to the setup and write a report in here into the finder here, and then click on report types. And then click on new custom report type to create. You see the duplicate reports are already created, but this is because of me doing this. In your org, if you didn't do it, probably these are not coming up. So I create a new report type. The primary object needs to be the object you are checking for duplicates, which in this case is accounts. So you select accounts. Then you need to label the report. Okay, I already have it, so let me do duplicate accounts too. And then add a description. You need to store it in a category. Let me put it into, let's say, administrative reports. Let's deploy this and go to the next. Okay, this is the most important piece when you build this custom report type, is to select the right object to be associated with accounts. And in this list, when you click on it, you then see duplicate record items. This is an object basically in behind the scenes inside Salesforce, which will host the record. So if I go into where was I? Oh, let me just show you the duplicate. Let me show you why you have another object in here. So when you tick this box report inside the duplicate rule, this is basically creating a report, another object that will be this duplicate record item here. So you select this one, and then the both are linked together. So the account and the duplicate record items, where all the accounts will be stored when they will be captured by the duplicate rule. So now the report is created. To let this report run, or let's say, so to create really a report, now I need to create a report. And oops, I was very rapid. So let me do it again. I go to report, I create a new report, and then here I can search for my report type that I created, duplicate accounts too. Okay, I can just select this one, and then I can add fields on it. For example, what is usually very handy is the created date. and created by, so that we can see who is creating these. In this case, you can only see my name, but you can, of course, you are already thinking about your company, and then you'll have, I don't know, 20 users, and of course here the users can be different. And of course, since we are at an account, we can also add the city, the postal code on the account side, the website, the owner, etc. So this report then you can save, and then eventually, if you want really to closely monitor it, you can also, after you run it, you can also subscribe to it. So if you subscribe, for example, when there is more than 0 as the record counts, then you will get an email every time there is a duplicate. That's also another possibility to check duplicates. Okay. Yeah, I think that for the reports, it's all. Let me check in case there are any questions. Oh yeah, I see one question. Is it possible to create rules for close fields like private or public email? Oh, okay. Thank you, Marcello. What does it mean with close fields? What does close field mean? Sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, I mean fields like we in our university we store several different email types. So like private email, professional email, and to avoid duplicates, sometimes people register to events or newsletters by providing one or the other. So the question is, when you create the rules, could you say not only check on itself, on the field itself, but on another one that could be close?
Oh, okay, good question. Let me quickly check that. Yeah, usually I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can do that, because basically what you want to say is you want to check that, for example, yeah, one email, it's equal to another email, to another field. So you want to check basically two fields. No, that's not possible.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so let me then wrap up here for the minute, and ask in case there are more questions. Okay, so what I want to to also show you. So first of all, thanks for. Okay, there is another question actually. Yes, the video recording, yes, will be available. Yeah, thank you, Emma, to reply about that. What I wanted also to show you, let me go back to the presentation here. Okay, question and answer. Okay, we got that. So it is actually this one. So the webinar will be made available to you. We will send you an email later on. And we will also share the resources which I put in this slide. So you will get access to these resources. The first one is really where you should start from, which is a Trailhead course about duplicate management, and this is very handy. I think you can. This will take you 1 hour to learn about this, And in this 1 hour, now that you understood better what is the topic, you can just go here in this link and then register and then do the course. It will be really handy. In case you want to explore more, then there are 2 further resources about customizing duplicate management and also about creating reports, which is something that we already saw on the both things, but probably here you have more details and that can also reply to your questions that that you can have. Okay, so let me go back in here and ask for, so since we still have another about 15 minutes, is there any other question? Okay, I think that there are no questions. So thanks a lot for your participation, and I wish you a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.